Look, this is Trump's stance on immigration was his greatest political strength. And given what has happened in Minneapolis in the last 2 weeks, it's become a weakness. And so there's great concern about the specifics, the loss of life in Minneapolis, the care and training that those ICE officers have for the population, and the overall tactic here. But let's step back. The concern in Congress is the implementation of the laws. Congress needs to step in and actually change the immigration laws. I think that's what the Trump administration is trying to draw out, and that's what we've seen in this shifting debate over the last 2 weeks, in fact.
I have the clearest memory of a real effort to change our immigration laws where Senator Kennedy and other Republicans went down in flames, I'm going to say a long 15, 20 years ago. Now, does the Senate block a rational immigration strategy because so many people, including in the Carolinas, say, we've got the power in the Senate, we're not changing?
In fact, yes, because both sides think that they have a political advantage on immigration, and therefore you haven't seen a compromise. It's a serious problem. The Congress over 20 years has attempted immigration reform 3 times in a major way. The last time was during the first Trump administration, and we had a bill, 2 bills, in fact, that almost made it out of the House. By very, very narrow margins, lost on the House floor. But that was the last go of it. In fact, we have a mess of an immigration policy. And the substance of our immigration policy is unpopular with the people. Enforcement is very popular with the people if broadly done and focused on the criminal element, the most egregious criminal element in our society. When you're picking up random people and having rough-ups with protesters, it becomes far less popular and far more questioned by the average voter.
You know, I think what surprised some people is a lot of people don't care. I don't see the uproar coming out of Minneapolis here. Some people trying to equate it to Kent State. I don't sense that out there. Is there in the halls of Congress? Is there a sense that this is a significant issue?
The questioning of Congress is around the training of ICE officers and the tactic of going into specific localities for major enforcement action. The Congress, and I think Republicans broadly, and in fact Democrats, would like the focus to be on the criminal gang element and the border. Those things are very, very popular. But these dust-ups with average everyday citizens, that's the stuff that gets questioned across society.
Patrick McHenry with us with his public service to the grand old party. He's a contributor to Bloomberg. We're thrilled he could give us perspective here, given the uproar. I got 8 ways to go here. I'm going to always call you Congressman. And I got 8 ways to go, Congressman, in no time. So let me talk about this. You very publicly, you've taken funds in different re-election bids from the National Rifle Association. We have a bedrock idea in this country of the right to bear arms. We have someone dead up in Minneapolis with or without a gun. I don't want to get into the debate, folks, but tell me how we juxtapose our colonial mythology with the idea of what we see in Minneapolis. What is the next step beyond in this emotion of the Second Amendment?
Oh, well, this is where the left has come out in defense of Second Amendment rights because the activist here was a liberal. And had an open carry, and Minnesota has an open carry law. And so, then we have some on the right saying, well, because he had a weapon, that was justification for the actions of the ICE officers. So both sides have flipped on when it comes to Second Amendment rights in this exact circumstance. And it tells you how polarizing Donald Trump is to the body politic. I don't mean polarizing. I mean, he has the most influence over every political discussion right now. And if Trump's on one side, then the Democratic Party must be on the other side. The left must hold strong, even if he agrees with them on certain issues. It's quite an atmosphere we have right now.
Congressman, we saw Minnesota CEOs. They're seeking de-escalation after the border police shooting. Is there a role here a meaningful role for corporate America to play a role in some of these debates?
Well, over the last 10 years, when they've done this, it's been a huge mistake for them. They need to stay out of politics. What you saw with these Minnesota CEOs is they said, we need to de-escalate. They're not getting into the substance of it. They're just saying, we want calm in our city and we want peace in our city. That is a message not just to the president or to ICE or the Border Patrol, but to the mayor and the governor. That cooler heads need to prevail here. The governor's stance to say, well, actually, we just need ICE out of our state is an absurd one. We have to enforce federal immigration laws. But both sides should be actually able to come to the table and have a rule of law approach here that cools the populace and restores order.